What are you cooking today, Miss Martha? Well, it's almost my son's birthday, so I'm going to be baking his favorite thing that I make, which is an Icebox coconut layer cake. I always do enough so that I have the birthday cake that we let, go ahead and bake that ahead of time, put that in the refrigerator and let that chill for at least 24 to 48 hours. And then I always do like a little sharing cake or some little mini cupcakes on the side, because when he comes in the door from work, he smells that I've been baking. He's going to want something to try right then and there on the spot. But with this type cake that's got cream cheese and sour cream and stuff like that, it has to be chilled and has to be stored in the refrigerator. So I've got started now. I've done this recipe and I've shared it before on my Miss Martha Loves to Cook digital cookbook page. So you can scroll back through and look at a more advanced recipe instructional video, that is. But I've got my oven is being preheated. I'm going to prep my pans. I'm going to start off there. I could sit here and run through all the ingredients with you, but that takes 10 minutes just going through the ingredients. So it'll be listed in the directions and the recipe underneath the tagline in the video. However, we're going to start off first. You're going to cream your oils, your butters, and your sugars together. Okay, you're going to set that aside. You're going to separate your eggs, because we only use the egg whites in the cake, and I'm going to save the yolks back because I'll scramble those up for my husband for breakfast the next day. So then you will cream together the sour cream, the eggs, and we have your coconut milk and your coconut extract. That will be added into the butter sugar. The whole time when you're adding little things, you're beating along slowly, adding things in slowly to not overbeat, to overmix the cake, or to be a hard, dense cake. Cut that off, let that rest for a minute. You could already have pre-sifted this before you started the recipe, or at this point in time right now, you could go ahead and sift together your flours, your dry powdered coconut milk, the coconut flour, the cake flour, the pudding mixes that we're going to add in, the baking powder and the salt, and a little bit of powdered sugar, and that's the dry ingredient. So when you get back over to your mixer, you're going to add a little bit at the time, while the mixer's mixing a little bit at the time, until you've got your batter for your cake. All right? Then we're going to parse that out between whatever pans you have prepped, baking time accordingly, and they'll come out and they'll cool completely before. So it seems like I'm going to be in the kitchen all day today, because a lot of the time is baking and cooling, which I could be working on. One second here, I'll show you. My son's birthday present, which I'm painting for him. It's called I'm Game If You Are. So it's all the little gaming people that when he was little, we used to play these games together. Or they're just superhero favorite people. Hold on, we'll get back to the frosting. And for the frosting, you've got your butter and your cream cheese and your coconut cream. Okay. You've got your powdered sugar and coconut extract, salt, and I like to use the sweetened coconut into the cake. That will be our icing, our frosting, and so we'll mix that up and we'll store that in the refrigerator until the cakes have cooled, or the cupcakes have cooled enough that we can ice those, and then the iced cake will go back into the refrigerator. So I'm going to get started on mixing everything up here. I'll pause and we'll pick back up through stages to let you know how it's going. I'm not going to leave the camera running the whole time, because I learned that. I've been doing these for a couple years now. I've learned that just these videos end up being 45 minutes long, and nobody's going to sit there and listen to the whole time for 40. I have people that love me and will watch the whole 45-minute video, but you know what? There's a feature just like when you're watching a YouTube or Netflix show. You can fast forward through. Fast forward, get to the part that you don't know when you're trying to make the cake on your own. Speaking of which, I have shared a smaller version, because I'm doing like a triple batch of the batter, and not everybody's going to bake, because with the price of eggs these days, not everybody's going to bake a whole 3 separate cakes for sharing and stuff like that. But I am, because it's a birthday and it's a party and we're celebrating. So there is a smaller amount. So don't panic when you say, "Wow, look at that! How much batter she's mixed up over there." I'm doing it for a party. Okay. So while everything is baking, and while I'm waiting for the cakes to cool, I'll go and I'll work on my painting, or I'll take the dogs out. I have 5 little chihuahuas. I'll take them out to go to the bathroom. So I'll have a busy day, but I'll check back in with you from time to time. And thank you for staying with me. Thank you for liking and subscribing and watching the videos of Miss Martha Loves to Cook. I know it looks like I haven't been doing anything, but I have. There are lots of reels over on my Facebook page of all the little dinners and the menu items and of meals and suppers and plans like that I've been doing. I just haven't been doing baking, because I think I mentioned that my oldest dog was diagnosed with diabetes in the fall. So not because he was eating my baked goods, because you don't give your dog your baked goods. However, it's just he gained a little weight, because my husband would come in from work and he'd share off, and I stop sharing, but can't tell Ben what to do. He would be sharing off the dinner plate. My dog gained a little weight there, so he ended up getting diabetes. So he's lost his weight, but he's still on an insulin-controlled diabetes. But if he's got to be on portion control, I feel real bad trying to sit over here and eat some potato chips and stuff while he can't have a little snack. So, you know, we've all been on a diet around here. So Miss Martha hadn't been doing all her little biscotti baking, but I've got stuff ready to rock and roll on that. I've got an Almond Joy, a candy bar version that I'm going to be making, because that was my mama's favorite candy bar was Almond Joy. So that's going to be my bake. I'm going to do that around Easter. Well, no, Easter's right up. No, I'll do that Mother's Day. But it'll be soon, so hang in there with me. All right, checking back in. So I have sifted all of my dry ingredients together. You see I'm running 2 different batches here because my KitchenAid, I can't do 8 cups of flour at one time in my KitchenAid mixer. So it's easier this way to go ahead and parse everything out and run it like I'm running 2 different cakes. One will be the layer cake and the other will be the mini cupcakes. Or the sharing cake, whichever I end up doing. Okay, got the yolks I'm holding back. So my eggs are separated. 4 whites over here, 4 whites over there. Okay, I got everything ready for my little assembly line. I've got one that I'll be mixing here first, which has got your sugars and your butters, and then we'll add in the creams and the milks and the eggs to that with the extract, and then we'll add in the flours. And that'll be a batter, and we'll either put that in the cupcake pan or the layer cake pan. Let that be baking, and then I'll do the next. I'll wash the container, and then I'll do the next that. And then they'll be baking. I'll wash the container, and I'll do the frosting. So I'll be back. Ooh, it's heavy, but my batter's ready. Beautiful batter. Okay. So I'll put it in the pans and get that in the oven. Then we'll make the next batch of batter up. That'll be in the pans and go in the oven. Then we'll make the frosting up. And I'll work on my painting in between. Okay, so I have 2 trays like this, the little mini cupcakes already in the oven baking. So that's 1, 2, that's 4 dozen in there, and here's another 2. So I got 6 dozen little mini cupcakes out of half of the recipe that I'm sharing there. So if you were just doing half a recipe, you would get this amount of cake at this time. So I've got to wash up my dishes over here so I can make the next batter up, which will be for the layer pans. I've got the grease and flour, the cake pans for that. So it's moving right along. Okay, first batch of little mini cupcakes are out. I'll show you. Bring it in, Miss Martha. Don't bring it in. They're beautiful. Okay, they've got to cool completely. Make up the icing for those, but I've got the second batch in. So while the second batch is up, I've washed the dishes up, as you can see. So I'm going to make my next batch of batter, which will be for the cake. So I've got to grease and flour my cake pans, make up the next batter. By that time, it's going to beep for those to come out. So rocking and rolling. You know, just a perfect little cupcake. Okay, the last pan of the mini cupcakes has come out of the oven, so now I've got to go mix up the batter for the birthday cake. Same batter. This was the other half, because, you know, it wouldn't all fit in one bowl. Don't fill your layers too full now, because you've got 3 layers, and you've got because you want almost as much icing as you have layer when you're doing a coconut icebox cake. So you're going to have a lot of icing in between the layers. So you don't want it to get so tall that you can't fit it on the shelf in your refrigerator. So I've got enough batter left. I can do another tray of the cupcakes. And instead of messing with the little 6-inch cake. And it's his birthday. He requested a little mini cupcake. So let me get this in the oven. And while that's baking, I'll show you how to mix up the frosting. Then when these come out, I'll put another little tray of the cupcakes in the oven. So yeah, I'm still in the kitchen. Okay, so the same amount, you know, because I cut the recipe in half, so the same amount that made the 6 dozen mini cupcakes makes 2 dozen and the 3-layer 9-inch cake. Come lick the bowl. Okay, cakes are out. Oh, hot. Beautiful that layer is. So they're over here on a wire rack cooling in the pan, because they've got to cool, 2-3 hours, completely cool to the touch, because if not, then your ice is just going to slide right off of them, so you won't be able to stack a layer cake. So I won't be able to do that on camera today. I'll just change the thumbnail in and make it be the finished product, but I will go ahead and show you how to go mix up the frosting. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do the same thing with the frosting that I did with the cake pans, and that is do two pans full of it. Make it 2 batches, I should say. So give me just a second and I'll get set up for that. Okay, we're going to cream the butter and the cream cheese as well as the coconut cream until it's all blended well. Then we're going to add in our powdered sugar, a little at a time so it stays smoothly into it. If you've got older powdered sugar, you're going to have to sift it because you want it to be nice and soft and you don't want any lumps. You're going to get the texture from the coconut. So we'll add in the powdered sugar so that mixes well. We'll add a dash of salt and the coconut extract at the end, and then we're going to take it out of the mixer, and we're going to have to stir in the coconut by hand or just wear down on your motor of your mixer, your KitchenAid stand mixer, whatever you're using with brand. All right, so I'll mix up my icing. Like I said, I'm going to do 2 different batches of it because it's too much to fit in my, I don't even know how many cups this is. It's been so long since I've had that. I love my KitchenAid. All right, the last little batch of cupcakes is about to come out. So, you think, well, that's half the frosting you're going to use, Miss Martha? Well, yeah, I got a huge birthday cake, and I got 8 dozen cupcakes to frost over there. So, I'm just going to show you how beautiful. Let's see if I can lift it. Oh, no, hold it up here. There we go. That's your frosting. Yeah. Whew. My poor little arthritis hand. I got to rest for a second. We're going to move this over into another bowl. And then I'm going to mix up the second batch of frosting. I'm going to get this in the bowl. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. I'm going to get the next batch mixed up. I'm going to put that in the refrigerator so that will stay cool. So when it comes out to the cold cake, room temperature, it's going to cool down so it's cool to the touch. Then we can ice them. So I think I've pretty much done everything I need to show you at this point in time. To tell you the truth, when you cook like this, I haven't had a minute to sit down and work on my painting because I've been washing that. There comes the cupcakes. All right, gotta go take care of that. The thumbnail will be the finished product when I take it all out. Not right now when I post it because I'm still gotta wait for the cakes to cool and then frost them. But thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. And I hope you wish Robert Jr. a happy birthday with me. Come on over to Facebook if you want to see the other things Miss Martha was cooking. In the meantime, I'm coming.